All right, so that was my personal best. Back in those days, and even today still, you know, we used to fish all night long for snook. I mean, you'd see them down there around the bridges, and you just get the snook fever. I mean, you just had to stay. I mean, they wouldn't bite, they wouldn't bite, they wouldn't bite, and then next thing you know, you got 2 or 3 snook piled up on the bridge. And man, I got the fever. We're going again. Ah! Woo! Now that's a hog there, man. So much fun, so much fun.
Red, really.
There he is. That's a good one. Oh, got a good one, man. I tell you, before I caught this snook here in this video, you know, my best snook I think was 39 inches. I caught him in December on a shrimp up in one of the creeks, and caught him on the second cast. I remember I asked my buddy to go fishing with me that night. He's like, no, I got family in town and I can't go. And that was before, you know, we could take pictures with our phones, but I called him up on my cell phone after I caught this huge snook, and I told him, man, I just caught a giant snook, and he was down there in about 15 minutes with him and his relatives and his fishing pole. All right, y'all, I got to retie. I'm still out of breath. He just frayed the leader with his teeth. Man, just about the time I thought I had him whipped, he'd just duck down in the water and take off. That was an amazing fish, an amazing fight right there. Oh my gosh, what a snook. Whew. Oh my God. That's a big snook, man. Big one. Whew. He hit a pink jig.
Did he?
Yeah. Oh, baby, he's not done yet. No, 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 no. Come on. Come on. Oh, my gosh. There he is. Woo! Man, what a fish. Let me come over here. Yeah, I started snook fishing back in 1980. And back then, you could keep them 18 inches and above, and there was no slot limit. I mean, you could keep them 48 inches. Tell you what, y'all, ever since I lost a couple snook trying to get them by hand down there around the seawall, I started using fish grippers. I keep these fish grippers on my belt loop the entire time that I fish now, because I do not want to lose another fish trying to grab him, lip grab him, or get him underneath the gills. And those lip grippers, they give you that extra, you know, foot almost that you need sometimes. Oh my God. Look at that snook, man. That's a snook, dude. Whew. My goodness. Got a mouthful of pink jig. Oh my God. Oh my God. Woo! Oh man, he's still got some fight in him. Dadgum.
Oh yeah.
Keep his head up, I'll be doing all right. Became a tradition that after we'd go snook fishing, we'd go to the convenience store and we get beef and bean burritos. But I've always thought that a bowl of Captain Crunch at the end of a good snook fishing adventure, man, there's just nothing better than that at like 3 o'clock in the morning, ice cold, and you just keep adding more Captain Crunch and more milk. That's good stuff right there. I can't stress the importance enough of tying a knot and checking it and double checking it and checking it again, man. Woo! He hit that thing right on the bottom, man. Yep, he's definitely oversized. No doubt about that. Oh my gosh. What a fish. Woo. I tell you, I probably switched up about 4 or 5 different lures before I caught this snook. I started out throwing a glow shrimp. I've never caught a snook on a glow shrimp. And then I switched it up and I put on a green swim bait, green and white soft swim bait, one that I caught a slot snook on the other night. Couldn't get a bite on that thing. I switched it up to a little mullet looking thing, couldn't get a bite. And man, the snook were just feeding all over the place down there. And you know, I'd bought one of those pink looking jigs, and I didn't have much confidence in pink. But I remember seeing a video on the internet from the company that I bought the jigs from, and they had a picture of some guy with a big old snook and a pink jig hanging out of his mouth. So I decided to put on the pink jig. Yeah, it's a real freaking circus act right here. Uh-oh. There it is. Where's the piling? I remember in junior high school, there were kids that when the water would get cold, you know, the snook would move up in the creeks, and these kids would cast net them off the bridges and they'd gig them, and they bring in these Polaroid pictures of these big snook, you know, and make us think that they caught them on a rod and reel. But, you know, one kid told me what they were doing, and they would have got a lot of trouble back then. You get a lot of trouble now, too. That lure you got on right there?
Yeah.
I mean, I was fishing this bridge when I was about your age. Mm-hmm. I used to take a canoe down underneath, and just all in between those pilings down there. You throw one of those in between them. Have you guys done that? Oh, yeah. And just buzz them through. Oh, my God. That's some of the funnest snook fishing I've ever done is under this bridge. And then when I got a boat, I used to do it with my boat. But
yeah, we're going to go under and get some thick stuff. We want to be able to
get them out of there.
We're going to be on YouTube.
Huh?
We're going to be on YouTube?
Yeah.
Yeah? What's your channel?
I don't tell people
really?
In the area. Yeah. Yeah, I don't tell anybody because I have a lot of spots where I catch a lot of fish. And
yeah, there you go.
Oh, I'm in the middle. All right, I'm good. I just started fishing with these jigs, man, about 3 months ago.
Yeah, I got one.
I mean, every snook that I've caught on these jigs now, I've only caught about 5. But every one of them has been, I just let the jig fall to the bottom and reel it like 2 or 3 fast cranks, and then, you know, let it hit the bottom again and reel it 2 or 3 fast cranks and let it hit the bottom. And it seems like they always hit it when you start cranking it up again. It's almost like they're just watching that thing, following it, waiting for it to come back up at that level where they can eat it. My goodness.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, I think he's about 36. What do you think? I got all the bait.
Yeah.
I'll see, I got a tape measure, but I'm pretty sure he's going to be oversized. The funniest thing is that, I mean, 10, 15 seconds, maybe 20 seconds into the fight, all of a sudden, you know, his head's up out of the water, and I look down and there's this giant snook, and I'm thinking, what the heck, man? He hardly fought at all. And I don't even think he realized he was hooked. He was probably just in shock, like, what the heck just happened? Man, next thing I know, the tide just turned just right, and this snook, he found himself in the tide, and he took off just rip and drag. And then I knew, you know, the fight was on. And man, he ran straight down under the bridge, and I had to lock down on my drag to keep him out of the pilings. And I don't know if you've ever hooked into a big snook like that, but it's all you can do to stop them when they are going for the pilings. And I was able to turn him. Oh my God. Oh my God. Woo! Oh man, he's still got some fight in him. I've been fishing with 50-pound braid and 50-pound leader Funny thing is, I'm using mono leader. I quit spending the money for fluorocarbon. I'm not tournament fishing. And you watching my videos, you know I'm catching the heck out of fish on 50-pound monofilament. I mean, $1.87 for 200 yards, I think. And, you know, compared to fluorocarbon, 25 yards for 10 bucks. I mean, really? And, I mean, I'm old school. I've caught a ton of fish on monofilament. I mean, I really don't care if he gets off, but will you hold the rod up here for me while I go down? Just keep that bad boy tight, man, and I'll see if I can land him. All right, going down the hill. We got some help tonight. Woo!
Yeah. Oh, man.
My goodness. I mean, really, who would be disappointed about catching a... Woo! Now that's a hog there, man. Oh my gosh. 41-inch snook. But the thing that probably bothered me the most was the video footage. You know, I wasn't even thinking about the video footage. All I could think about was just handling this big fish and keeping him out of the pilings and landing him, you know. Woo! My goodness. Oh yeah. 41 inches. He's a big one.
Camera's rolling.
Oh yeah. He's hooked good too. Here's the thing. That fish, by the time I got him down to the seawall, I think it took all of about 10 minutes, you know, and that fish's head was up out of the water for a long time. You know, I had to hold him up out of the water and let him get tired out, and then I had to walk him down the bridge, and I got him down the bridge, and oh, I can't reach. He's still got some life in him. You know, when I lifted him up over the seawall, he was just tuckered out like me, man. And he wasn't moving at all. And so I just really quickly, I wanted to get him back in the water as quick as I could. Because, man, this is just a trophy fish and he needs to live. Come on. And so, yeah, it's pretty disappointing that I didn't really think too much about the video and take time to get a good picture of him. But, you know, I'm kind of proud of myself. I was more concerned about the fish, getting him back in the water and, you know, getting him revived so that he would live. A lot more concerned about that than, you know, having a picture. I figured, I guess I just figured the GoPro was covering some of the stuff, and it did. I got a little bit of footage. I can't reach him. Come on. There you go. Woo! Oh my God. You know, I love to fish, but I'll tell you what, I don't think there's any fish that I've ever fished for that I enjoy as much as snook fishing. And it's the challenge because they're so finicky. And you know, when they're biting, they are biting. And sometimes you can catch 20, 30 snook on lures, you know, if you're in the right place. And, you know, but if they've got lockjaw and you see them down there, I mean, you can see them on the bridge, just hundreds of them stacked up in the pilings, you know, or in the shadows, you know they're there. But you can't get them to bite anything, and you just keep throwing and throwing and throwing. And then all of a sudden, boom, you get that big bite. And, well, that's what happened here, you know. The thing is, you got to get there early. You got to beat the other snook fishermen. I mean, I got there just before the tide turned around so I could get the best spot on the bridge. While I was fishing there were 3 other snook fishermen that came up on the bridge, and they all walked over there by that spot where I was at. And, you know, I'm thankful that they just had respect for me, that I had that spot and I had gotten there early enough, and they didn't mess around with, you know, the area that I was fishing. And it really touched my heart. I tell you what, this one kid, I told him, I said, man, if you want to come over here and cast around, go ahead. But, you know, at that point, I'd already caught this monster snook. Whew. All right, so that was my personal best. Biggest snook I've ever caught. That was a 41 incher. I don't know, I didn't weigh him, but he had to be 20 plus pounds easy. That fish was thick, man. And he was wore out and I'm wore out. Anyway, I still need to get a slot snook here. The tide just turned around, so I got 4 or 5 hours of fishing. Maybe we can get it done.